What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of our podcast, Rod Studios and Gatica Tattoo Studios. I'll leave the links down in the description down below. So if you're in Fayetteville, this is your guy to come get a tattoo from, or one from the team members, new TJ. And today, our special guest today is Miss Molly.
Hey.
How you doing?
I'm good.
So tell us a little bit about yourself.
What do you want to know? Business? Just me.
Anything. Whatever you want to talk about.
Past, present, and future?
Past, present, and future. Let's see. In the past, I was all about ROTC. That was like my bread and butter. I wanted to go in. I was like, I'm going to do this. I wanted to be a linguist. Did not get that dream. Presently, I am a mom, and I run a business. I've had it for 18 years. And future, I haven't thought that far ahead yet, aside from getting my dream house. I know what I want. I just haven't gotten it yet.
Okay.
Well, what is your dream house?
Okay, so it's in Fayetteville. I've seen it. It's a 1969 house.
Okay.
It has 7 bedrooms, 5 bathrooms. It has a separate private office, which is perfect. It even has little bookshelves built in for all my items. It has a downstairs master bedroom, so you don't have to go up any stairs. It has a patio and everything. Like it's really nice.
Nice. Do you keep like do you have a picture of it that you just keep for motivation?
Oh yeah. Like even though I keep seeing it like go up for sale all the time, I just keep saving it like this is my house every day.
So you purposely like drive by just to see it?
I'm afraid if I drive by, I'm gonna like go in and like not leave. So I'm like, I don't want to get like in trouble for being like a stalker of a house, if that's a thing, you know.
Got you. Where's is that? You said Fayetteville?
It's here in Fayetteville. Very expensive. It's like a $800,000 house, but it's perfect for me. Like it has like the driveway is rounded, which is what I want because I hate having to like back out into traffic. Everything is great about this house. It even has an EV charger in the back.
Nice.
Is it in town or is it on the outskirts? Do you have like a lot of property?
It's like downtown where it is. So like there's other houses around, but it's not a HOA because of how old the house is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's a very pretty house.
So once you get that house, what's the first thing you're gonna do?
So many things. Aside from moving in and figuring out where I want to put the paint on the walls, I want to designate a wing for business and then another wing for my kids for their future. So I've always been a big fan of like, I don't just want to have the kids have somewhere to be. I want somewhere that if the world goes to whatever, you can stay here. Here's your wing of the house where you can have your own private life and not have to worry. So I'd like want to divide up the house. I'm like, okay, which side is for the future, for grandkids, and then which side is just for me, and what part is business.
That's nice.
How many kids do you have?
I have 2.
2?
Yeah.
Boys, girls?
2 boys. Best boys in the world.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So that's why you want like the house with all the rooms in it?
Yeah, like I really want something bigger than that. So I know that, I know you're like,
nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that.
like 7 bedrooms isn't enough. Actually, it's not. I've always been a huge fan of paying people for things that they do. Like I just believe in the service that people offer, but I don't want my staff to worry about little things like where am I going to go or can I afford my rent. I wish I could be wealthy enough to say, here's a whole separate home. This is yours. Enjoy. You don't have to worry about rent or whatever, but here, you have a roof, do what you want, paint it, change it, whatever. But I don't want them to worry about, okay, I can't get to work because I live on the other side of town, or I can't afford, my utilities because, the rates went up. I don't want them to worry about that. I want like permanent staff. I want like a maid, I want a landscaper, I want a security person, I want all of those things. And I want them to know that like when they work with me, this is peace. Like all you gotta do is just come in.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about your business?
Yeah, so I have a company called Excel Books, and I started it when I had my first son because I was just smitten. I saw his cute little baby face, and I'm like, okay, I am not leaving this adorableness, so we need to have a business. And it's gone through a lot of changes, but It's grown into something that I absolutely love. At first, I was completely lost. I didn't know what I was doing. I was like, I'm not even sure if I should be in business because I'm really confused on what to do here. But what I do essentially is I work for other businesses. So, as you know, running a company, it's a lot of work. You've got administration, you've got bills, you've got marketing and all this, and it's a lot if you're doing it by yourself. And I want to be the helping hand for businesses. So everything from their flyers, websites, virtual assistants, a whole lot more. I do all of it for them so they can focus on what they love.
Okay.
So how many years have you been in business?
18 years now.
18 years.
Yeah, since 2007.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
And you said your son was 17, right?
Yeah, he's 17. Yeah, he'll be 18 in the fall.
So you do everything remote?
Yeah, it's a little challenging. A lot of people, when they start a business, they're like, I need a brick and mortar. I need people to come see me. And day one, I knew that's not what I wanted to do. And I love brick and mortar businesses, but it's really hard to maintain that. There's a certain amount of quota you've got to make just to keep the lights on and keep the doors open. There's a lot of extra headaches that the cities give you just to run it. And I don't want my overhead eaten up by that. I'd rather invest in my team than invest in a building. So instead of saying I'm going to pay someone barely 10 an hour for a couple hours a week, I'd rather pay them like a full-time salary and say, forget the building, how about I give you benefits? So yeah, completely remote.
Gotcha.
And so you say you do their business cards, you do anything that needs to be done. So you do the little what is it called? You do HR also? So you do all the little.
Yeah, so it's kind of weird because when you look at the business, you're like, how many things do you do? I'm like, there's a lot.
Yeah, where do you draw the line for all this?
I draw the line at anything that requires me to constantly be in a physical place with them, because that's just too much for me. And I also draw the line at something that I have no idea what I'm doing. Like, I like to be very honest with my clients. So if they ask me something and I'm like, ooh, I've never done that before, I wouldn't recommend me. I'd recommend somebody else.
Gotcha.
But I try to stick to what I know. I just happen to be lucky to know quite a bit. I've been in the corporate world for over 20 years, so I know quite a bit online.
How much has your business changed from the moment you started to now?
Oh, drastically. Let's start with business name. I don't know about you, but my business name changed like 3 times since I started. When I first started, I wasn't even doing what I do now. I was organizing. That was my company. And I had named it From the Heart, Simple and Sweet, which is really too long, if we're honest. But I started with that because it was what I knew how to do. You give me a space that's cluttered and I will make that thing completely organized. You won't even recognize it. And I was really good at it, but I realized this was really time consuming. And I really wasn't getting enough of the sales that I wanted. I couldn't make a constant living off of it. So then I changed to greeting cards, which I'm actually really good at that as well. But I don't know, everybody wanted custom cards, and they're very picky about what they wanted on it, and then they didn't want to pay the amount that I knew I was worth, and I said, that's not going to work. And so around 2012 is when I landed on Excel Books. And I'm proud of my business name. A lot of people are like, why would you choose that as the company name for all the creative things that you do? But I chose it because of one client. I had one client that I've been doing a lot of things for them, and the thing they loved the most was my Excel workbooks. They went crazy over it. They're like, oh my gosh, this is the best spreadsheet I've ever had. And I said, I want to remember this feeling. I want to remember what made my customer happy. And so I named my business after the thing that I provided for them.
Okay. Yeah, because I thought you were just like a booking.
It sounded like that at first,
Yeah, so I was like a little confused. That's why when you said you did not flyers, greeting cards and all that stuff, business cards, I was like, so where do you draw your line? Because you're doing this, you're doing that. Are you doing HR? Like, what are you doing? But I got you. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, now I will say, like, I draw the line at certain pieces of it. So mostly it's the design and delivery aspect I do, but some of those interpersonal workings, like, say you're hiring staff and you're like, I need someone to coach my staff and do the onboarding. Now that I use my third party for.
Okay.
And I'll recommend them to her because she's been doing that for much longer than me and she knows it. But like if you say, I need a process manual to figure out, to give this to my team and say, this is how we do everything, I can build that from scratch.
How do you go about, how do you land your jobs? Like, do you send emails? Do you go to businesses? How do you do all that? Or-
I do all of that, but surprisingly enough, most of my customers are from word of mouth.
Okay.
Okay.
Like, I get one client and they just go nuts and then they tell like 5 different people and I don't even have to ask. They're just like, oh my gosh, you need to work with Molly. So that's worked really well over the years. I'm constantly marketing, as you know, because as a business owner, you can't sleep on it,
Right.
you know.
Yeah.
I am on just about every social media platform. I do network and go to a couple of events. I'm part of the Chamber of Commerce, part of the Fayetteville and the Hope Mills one. But most of it is still word of mouth. That's where I get all my customers.
That's the best way to do it. Gotcha. So whenever like you're explaining, so for example, if I was to ask you, how can you help me? What's usually the first thing that you try to say? Do you just give it all out as far as like every single thing that you do? Or is there like a specific way that you do it?
So,
Consultations, right?
yeah, see, you hit the nail on the head. I always do a consultation, and that is basically so I can understand your vision for your business. It's overwhelming for a customer if you go in and say, hey, I can offer you 35 different things. Which of these do you want? They're like, you know? But if you say, okay, tell me your vision. How do you see your business going? If you could dream of anything to make it easier, what would it be?
I'm gonna steal that. Tell me your vision.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And you'd be surprised what people will say once you say, what's my vision? Because they haven't thought that far. They're thinking about the immediate pain point. But when you ask them to like really think outside the box, what do you really want? Then they're like, oh, I wish I had someone to answer the phones. I wish I had someone to do these emails. I wish I had a better business card. And I really want to have a building and I want this and that. And I say, okay, great. I think I can do half of that. Yeah. So I enjoy it. And plus it gives me better insight because I'm small now, but I try to keep it really personal when I do my services. I don't want to just be like a cookie cutter, you know.
Right. Yeah.
I want to just say, okay, yeah, so you need an assistant, here you go. I'm like, no, like, what do you need? Why are you doing your business? Where are you trying to go?
So make them think at the same time, like not just tell them what to do, but teach them why you're doing it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because with my team, like, I want them to understand the purpose of that business owner as well. I'm like, they're not just a client. This is someone who is running a business just like us. And to give them that level of care, we have to understand who they are and what they do.
Okay. Right. My wife is trying to get into what is it called? She's trying to start her own little business, but I don't think she understands the whole thought process that goes into being an entrepreneur, like marketing, talking, networking, doing all this. Like, she can talk, but it's like it's a 24/7 job. You just can't. Yeah. The only time I get off is like whenever I'm on the car. That's my quiet time. Yeah. But it's one of those things where like and even that like I don't know if you do things like that with people who are just starting off.
Actually, I do. This is really interesting. So I do that in 2 different ways in my business. So I'm also one of the business advisors at the FTCC Small Business Center.
Okay.
So for people like your wife that say, hey, I want to start a business, but I'm not sure where to begin, and how do I think, and what do I get?
It will go through you or through FTCC?
It would go through FTCC,
Okay.
but they can actually go to my website and click the button, and it'll prompt them where they need to go. But it's a completely free service. And I meet with them as often as they want, and I give them all the knowledge in my head to help them start a business.
Okay. I'm gonna need to get you. Oh, she needs to watch this video.
Yeah.
And anybody else who's trying to get into a business, talk to her.
Yeah.
Yes. You said it was 2 ways that you did it, right? Which was, one was the FTCC, and which was the other one?
The other is just through my business. I have a business startup package. So through FTCC, it's free. So you can learn and you're going to do all of the work. But if you're like, I don't have time to do the work, I just need you to like start it so I can make money because I've already got customers, then I do all of that.
Oh, okay.
So all of your EINs, your websites, all of that, I build everything and set it up so you have it and now you can just run it.
And the price varies depending on the which one, right? Or is it just like this is your price, this is what you're paying?
Yeah, if it's like a startup, there's a set price.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I even have payment options because I know we're all working hard.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, true. She's gonna have to get payment. I'm not putting that out of pocket. No. But no, I let her know about it. Yeah, I let her know about it. Yeah.
Awesome.
What advice do you have for someone who's trying to start?
I would say fall in love with learning. That learning has to be your favorite thing to do. Because there's always something.
Right.
I don't know about, what it's like in your business, but in mine, I constantly have to learn something. You learn one system one year and the next year it's completely changed. Sometimes it changes within months. For example, I love Canva and I've been in it for a couple of years now. And a lot of people don't know lately they added Jotform, which is a game changer. And before then, I had to do all these workarounds to build their sites and build their contact forms. Now I can build it in one place and they can connect and they can submit information and I don't have to leave the platform. But I never would have known if I wasn't constantly looking for the next Canva Create conference or their next how-to video.
Okay.
Yeah.
I do like that, like the fall in love with learning. Yeah, because I feel like that's I'm pretty sure he's the same way, but like, or if I find out something new, I'll be like, okay, let me do this. Why do you do this? Like, yeah, I'm always trying to figure things out.
Yeah, especially with all the rules changing. I mean, you start a business one day and they're like, okay, all you need is this, this, this. And then years later, they're like, okay, now you need this. I'm like, wait a minute, when did this requirement come into play?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I know there's been a big debate on the BOI thing. What is your thoughts on that?
Okay, break that down for me.
The business owner information thing, something like that. Yeah.
There's so many acronyms. I'm like, okay, what was that? I was like, I don't know what that one means. Business owner information, it varies on where you're putting it, especially with websites. So.
Oh no, not that you have to file a form. You have to do the whole form, and if you don't file it, I think they charge you like $500-$600 a day.
They changed that, so there's been a lot of debate about it. So first they said, okay, you have to do it, and I think it was like 4 or 5 months ago, they said they're not doing it, it's not required, especially if your business was established before, I think, 2022 or something like that. But when you register with the Secretary of State, it takes care of a lot of that information, so you don't have to do the separate form.
Yeah. But I thought it was back on. That's why I was like, because I know he's been a back and forth, so I thought he was back on.
Yeah, I haven't seen it back on yet, but like you said, it keeps changing. So I always tell my customers, I'm like, don't do it until you see something that comes in the mail from a legitimate source that says you've got to do this or you're shut down. Because what you see on the internet can change in a blink of an eye.
But I don't even mind shutting down. I just don't want to owe like $50,000 on what is it called? Every day that I didn't pay. Like that's it.
Yeah, it's not practical, I think, for them to charge daily like that. It just doesn't make sense. Even when you think about state standards, they won't charge you daily. Like being an LLC is expensive, but they make that an annual fee because they know no one can afford to pay $300 a day to be an LLC.
Yeah.
So when they say a daily fee, that just doesn't sound right to me.
It's like a penalty, I think.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see how that goes. I don't think it will last long if it does, because half the businesses in the city would be shut down.
Yeah.
It's the first time I heard about it, if I'm being honest.
Really?
Yeah.
Dang.
I haven't kept up with it.
Yeah. No, only reason I found out was because my barber was telling me about it. He was like, "Have you filled out your BOI?" And I was like, "No, I don't know what that is." And he told me a little bit about it. Then I went and searched for it, like looked it up. And I was like, "Oh dang!" Like they not. Well, I don't be watching news. I'm being completely honest. I just be working, be on TikTok. Yeah, but now my algorithm is all business. So he's like, "All right, so the BOI this week is this. The BOI this week is that." So yeah, it's constantly changing too. So.
Yeah, I check the Secretary of State as your, your source of truth for that, because they will actually list out there things that you must have for your business versus things you don't have to have. And they even put out there if there's things you're getting that is like spam, and they're really good at that.
I want to say that it was up there too, because I remember going to one of the websites and it was like a little clickable, like a redirecting link, and I think I clicked on that and he sent me to another page, and they're getting paid for advertisement. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm double check. I'm a fine print person, so like when I see stuff, I'm looking at all the. It's forever to read it, but I'm like, what is that? What is like? What are they charging me for?
Right. Yeah. You gotta check everything nowadays.
Yeah, because I know there's no way I'm paying daily.
Right.
to be in business. I'm like, I've been a business owner forever. Like, I pay my state stuff and I pay this. Yeah, I'm not paying that much.
Yeah, I don't, and it might just be on the because I remember I clicked on it, or was it the IRS? It was one of them too. That it was like
the banner.
Yeah, it had like a little X, so you could exit out, so you could stop getting that notification. And he was talking about the BOI, so that's when I was like, okay, so this is a real thing, so I can't be messing around with this. But yeah, I'm gonna just have to look more into it. Yeah,
because it's definitely real, but I just don't believe the whole daily fee thing. That seems sketchy to me.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not hiding anything, so I might as well go ahead and do it. So
yeah.
Crazy.
All these rules changing, man. It's being in business. That's why you gotta love learning.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
You gotta
can't be complaining either. I mean, you can, but you still gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah, I mean, it's really about how bad you want your business.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, some people I think are just in a good hobby.
Yeah. I remember when we first started the podcast, it was one camera over there, and Miguel was like, I don't like that. And then we had to change it. I don't like that either. Gotta change it again. It's alright. Change it again.
Oh, man.
No, but yeah, it's definitely, learning is something that you gotta definitely want and like and enjoy. So keeps it going. What are your future plans for your business? Or any goals that you have for it?
I have so many goals. I wish I had brought my little notebook with me. I keep a planner every year, but I'm very picky about my planners. And so it has to have ample spots to write all my to-dos. And then it has a section for like, what do you want to do for this month and next year and all of that. But I want to expand my team, but not by much. Like, I really want a small team. That's just a passion of mine. I like the Google principle. The way they started, it just inspired me. I don't know if you've ever read their story, but they started very tiny. They were pretty much similar to Steve Jobs, kind of working in their own garage, internet-based, until they realized, like, okay, our team of 5 can't handle the volume of what we want to do, so now we need a headquarters. But if you think about it, you don't see Google headquarters in every state.
Yeah, right.
You got one out there in California, but everything else is online because they're sticking true to their principle. I want to expand my team, but I really like offshore. I have a great person now that works in the Philippines, And I want to be able to afford to pay her like a year's salary every year without a problem, to just let her do everything because she's incredible. I'd like to hire her and like 2 other people. I want one dedicated designer for the websites, and I want another one that's dedicated to my graphics. And that would be enough for me. So I have a web designer, a graphics person, and then I have Eliza. Everyone needs Eliza, but you can't have her. She's mine. No, Eliza knows. I would share with anybody, but she's great, and I'm like, I need Eliza every day. She takes care of all the administrative and some of the creative design, so she's like a powerhouse. I want to have that team. I want to be able to pay them like a steady salary and not by project, because that's the beauty of running your own business. You know, you pick how you want to do it. I'm like, well, if I don't have any customers, I don't have anything to pay you. So let's do this by project so I don't lie and say I can pay you something that I don't have. I actually don't want a brick and mortar. People have been asking me for years, and I really don't want one.
So I do have a question, because this is something that that me and my wife we talked about. It was like, you as a business owner, would you hire somebody else who has the same mentality as you being a business owner, or you hire somebody who's more laid back or docile? Like, as far as like, which one is the person that you would hire? Will you look at me and be like, I'm gonna hire you? I don't know, because I feel like, because eventually I'm gonna leave, because I'm always on the go. I'm always trying to level up. Like, what person do you invest in? Do you invest in the person, in the employee, or in the creative, critical thinker?
I think it depends on what matters to you most at the moment. So for me, I would hire the person that thinks like me, because I want someone that I don't have to go back and tell them how to think in weird scenarios, I want someone that I could say, can you be the director? So I can go on vacation for a couple of weeks and breathe, and not have to worry about, okay, let me check in with you every day and say, okay, how did you handle this?
Yeah, and I'm guessing more so like the stress part, because like you as a business owner, if you slack off, everything's done. If the manager, and I'm guessing like a manager, if they slack off, at the end of the day, it doesn't fall back on them, it falls back on you, because you're the owner. Like, yeah, I guess that was more so my thing.
Yeah, because and there's nothing wrong with having your average employee, right? You want someone who can just be a worker bee, but they're only going to go so far. And you got to think about, okay, is this someone, if they're a worker bee, they're usually there just for the paycheck. They're not invested in what you're doing. So putting more into them versus someone who thinks business is going to shoot you in the foot.
Yeah.
Because if the business goes down, if you had nothing but worker bees here, and you're short on funds one day, they're just going to find the next place to go to work. And then you got to go back to hiring again.
Yeah. Are you a worker bee?
I don't know, you tell me. Yeah, drink your cup.
I'm just kidding.
It's so funny. Yeah, I've had a little of both, so I do know what that's like. Like, last year was my big hiring time, and that's when I got my assistant from the Philippines. I have another guy, my designer in Raleigh, and then I had my graphics person who's local. But my graphics person is a worker bee. She's not business minded. She didn't last long, not because I wanted her to go, but because she wasn't sure where she really wanted to be. She's like, hey, I like working for you. It's a great work environment and everything. It's peaceful, but maybe I want to work somewhere else today. Maybe I want to go somewhere that has more benefits today, or has more money, or, and those people, you have to look at them as almost like a revolving door, that you're constantly going to have to fill that position. It's really hard to find someone with a mix of both of those mindsets.
Yeah.
Especially in today's economy. So I think if you hire someone who's a worker bee, just have that in mind, that you may have to fill their role at some point. Try to have 2 worker bees, so that if one goes, at least you have another one. but I definitely invest in those that think more business minded. That's why I love Eliza. You can't have Eliza. But I'm telling you, it's like she's the best assistant I could ever ask for. But she is a combo of both, where she has no problem working hard, but she thinks business. And she knows that even though she works with me, because I always tell them, I say, you don't work for me, you work with me.
Yeah.
You know, we're doing something together. There's a big difference. You know, I'm not your boss. I'm the person who just happens to start this company. But she's always thinking about, how is the business going? Where do we need to invest our time? You know, I just met with her this morning and she says, well, should we focus more on this service that we offer for the next month, or should we focus on that? Where are we getting sales? I made ads for you, but did you get any fruit out of it? And that's the kind of person you want on your team, because I didn't have to stop and ask her to think bigger.
Yeah.
She thought ahead of it. I'm like, oh, that's a great idea. You know, I'm like, I hadn't even thought about it. I'm so busy on the to-do list that I didn't think, oh yeah, we did these ads on this and it didn't really pay out. Let's switch gears next time. So yeah, that's how I hire.
And you keep track of everything that's being done. Like, okay, this didn't work. This, do you actually keep track, or is it just like a mental thing? Because I think that's my problem. It's like I keep mental notes of everything. I don't have actual notes. Be like, okay, so this is why that worked, but for me to tell her like, okay, so I already tried that, and I know it's not gonna work. But I think that's where I struggle, is that I don't actually have notes. I have mental notes, but no notes.
Yeah. You're going to have to write some stuff down. I mean...
I like drawing pretty pictures.
Yeah, I mean...
Can't even write it for you.
Right. Like, that's when you pay them more. It's like, I will pay you a little extra to keep up with this. Because most business owners struggle with that. The administrative side is just a hurdle for many people, unless you naturally think that way. I have OCD, so it's not hard for me to jot everything down. But if you don't jot it down, how can your team replicate what you want them to do?
Yeah, and I think my brain processes information more like a chess game. So it's like, it can be a whole chaos, but I know like if I move this here, it's gonna cause this to do this, and this, what is it called? Trickle down, or like a cause effect kind of thing. Yeah, so my brain can comprehend that, but I know that throughout the chaos, they're all lost. So how do they stay in track with my chaos? Like,
yeah, and there's different ways to give that information. So like, and you have to really not just give them the data, but you have to think about what matters to them and how they receive it. So like, and I'm just picking on your awesome team. So if she's like, okay, yeah, I want your business to grow, but I don't want to see all the technical details, I could care less. Okay, then you just need to give her bite-sized information that keeps her up to date on the direction you're going. So she's like, hey, this month our game plan is we're going to market here, we're going to do this ad, we're only focusing on this service we offer, and we're going to put that in all 5 of our social media platforms.
So you're saying more like communication?
Yes.
but I did communicate through bullying.
But did you only do it by talking?
Yes, I think so. I don't know. Like, I really don't know. Define that.
Yeah, I would, and this is just me, try to be versatile in the way you communicate with your team. You know, or at least at a minimum, when you have your one-on-ones with them, ask them how they like to be communicated with. Some people are email people, some people are text people, some people are talk to me, some people are give me something that I can hold, that I can refer back to. You should know how your team communicates best. Because if all you're doing is talking, and they're not a talking learner, they just lost everything you just said.
Yeah, but okay, so yes, that is a very good point that I had not thought about. But my thing was like, okay, so I'm able to hold their attention, get them to, because I connect with him differently than I connect with her. So it's like I'm retaining both of their attention, or I would assume, I don't know, they probably tune me out. So then I start, I guess, talking, and then if they listen to me or get information from me, like that's the way I communicate. But I never actually thought about like emails, text messages.
Yeah, like you gotta, and again, that comes with knowing your team. right? So they may be focused and engaging on you at that moment, but that doesn't mean they're going to remember every detail a week from now that you just said. And they really were paying attention, you know, because they're like, hey, I want to hear what the boss says. I want to know what they said we're supposed to do. And you ask them, you know, the question and say, are you ready? And you're like, yeah. They go do it. And then 3 days later, like, what was that thing he said a few days ago? I know he said something that was important. I just forgot. So following up with something that they can refer back to is huge. Just find the style that works for them. So for me, I have an online platform where I can do all of that with my team. So I have like little announcements that go out. It'll ping them on their phone if I need to. They'll say, hey, just a reminder, I'm going to be paying you guys on this day. So if something goes wrong with your paycheck, you know you're supposed to call this number. Don't call me because I don't do that part. I just put the money in the pot.
Yeah.
But at least I'm addressing that ahead of time. Or if I say, hey, this month we're focusing on resumes because that's where all the customers are coming in from. Through that simple announcement, they can always scroll back through the announcements and say, oh yeah, that's what she said. That's what we're doing. They don't have to worry about, did we have a one-on-one in a meeting, or did I talk, or did they pay attention? Because I gave them something to look at. Not vision boards, like my favorite tool, so I'll share this with you guys only because we're on the podcast. I use an app called Connect Team, and it kind of serves like a vision board, if you will. So I get everything from chats individually, schedules. So say I want one person to work on a specific thing, they can see it. But if they want to see my overarching goal, they can see that there too. It's all about how I want to use it. I even have handbooks and guides in there. So if they're like, hey, we haven't done this service in 3 months, I don't remember how to do it, they can go through the handbook digitally, flip to the page, and see exactly how I would do it. Yeah.
What do you think about AI, and have you started using it in your business?
I love AI. AI is my friend. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I love technology because I'm just a nerd, but I use it every day. I actually have the subscription to ChatGPT because I wanted all the premium features, but I use it daily for everything, especially in business. I use it for not just for like doing the actual task, but I especially use it when I'm marketing. I'm like, okay, what's a better way to word this? I think this post sounds great, but do you think this is going to work? What's a viral hashtag currently that's reaching X amount of people in my target market? I love AI.
Have you, because I think this is recent, ChatGPT now has Canva inside, so now you can do all the Canva stuff with AI.
I know, it's so great.
Through Canva or through ChatGPT?
ChatGPT.
Both.
Really?
Think of it like an integration. So ChatGPT houses a whole bunch of different AIs, and it has different integrations in it. So you can say, design this in Canva. I want a Facebook post or something. And you can tell it, and it'll integrate with the Canva AI in there, and it will download and create that template in Canva. And then you can go make it all pretty after that.
Have you played with Grok?
I have not played with Grok. What's that?
It's what's called the AI from Elon Musk from X Based, I think. Because I feel like I tried ChatGPT, but I feel like it is very restricted to a lot of things. Maybe because it's free, but I did go to Grok, and it gives me a whole lot more information, I feel like.
Yeah, I haven't tried Grok, but I can say with ChatGPT, a lot of people just use its default interface, and they don't look at the other GPTs that come with it. And that's why they feel like it's limited. Because ChatGPT can make your videos, it can make just about anything you could think of. You just got to click on the word GPTs, and it comes up with this full list of all the things you can use.
Okay, because I think one of them was tax services, not tax services, like tax loopholes. And ChatGPT told me that he gave me a very basic answer, and it was like check with an advisor, something like that. But he didn't give me any information. Then I went to Grok and asked him the same thing, and then he broke it, or it broke it down more. Yeah.
Yeah, and then some people don't train their chat GPTs. See, I've trained mine, so they're
You gotta constantly, and I think it's also the way you type it in, right? Like the way you type what you want. Sometimes you gotta be very, very specific.
Yeah.
To get it very specific.
Yeah, I did notice that. That's why I try to like have more thorough, like more, what is it called? I don't know what the word I'm looking for. But my thoughts make sense, like, because I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
yeah.
Very specific. That's what I try to make sure I do. But like I said, ChatGPT didn't give me much information. Grok gave me more information. So right now I'm playing more with Grok than with ChatGPT.
Yeah, I mean, and find the AI that works for you. There's so many out there. The only reason I'm in love with ChatGPT, aside from free, because I'm a big fan of free, if it's free, I want it. But when I learned that you can train your AI, that changed everything for me. So I literally one day, instead of just giving it a bunch of tasks, I literally sent a message to it and I said, I want you to get to know me. Give me prompts so that you know everything there is to know about me, my business, so that when I ask things in the future, you know what to do.
Smart.
And it took a little time, you know, it took me probably like an hour because I had so much to say. But I gave it everything. I was like, this is my business. This is my style. This is how I like to communicate. I like links. So if you give me advice and you don't give me a link, I'm not happy. I want a link where I can click on something. And it's like, oh, okay. And after that, I don't have that problem. My AI knows, like if I were to go on it right now and say, I want to post for Facebook about, you know, this service, it knows to put the URL at the end. It knows that I want certain hashtags. It knows the way I like to talk.
Okay.
It becomes you.
Right. No, because then you can, like, just the same way that she said that he gave you prompts, right? Like what to talk about, things like that. I mean, we can do that same thing with our customers, or even with anybody who's on the opposite side of the chair. Like if we don't know how to talk to them, like, let me chat GPT this real quick.
Yeah.
Get some answers, get some questions, have a good conversation. Like,
Yeah, it's definitely helped me with my conversations because sometimes, like you're saying, you don't know what to say to the customer. You know you can help them, but you're like, how do I respond in a way that doesn't sound phony but doesn't sound like I'm trying to sell them? Like, I don't know how to do this. And AI, man, fixes everything.
I feel like this is a ecological aspect of things.
I think AI is a great way to learn. You know what I mean? Like learn, because I think a lot of people use it to get answers, but they don't really learn from it. I want to learn everything that it's given me so I can keep that knowledge with me without having to like go back for reference.
Yeah, I like learning. And then I tell it to save certain things too. I was like, put this in your memory bank because I'm going to ask you about this probably in a few weeks. And that helps.
Does ChatGPT have what's called access to the internet, like on in time?
You mean like searching the internet?
Yeah.
Oh,
Can you
yeah.
do all that? Because I remember I asked it a few things and it was like I don't have access to the internet, real time internet access, something like that. So I was like,
Interesting.
yeah, but I'd be asking like some weird things like the stock markets and all that, like where I should invest, what is their prediction, things like that.
Now, stock market's going to be a little difficult even for AI because it's constantly changing. So I can see it giving that response because within seconds it moves.
Yeah, I mean, I was able to make some money with it at the beginning whenever I feel like it wasn't as restricted, but then I feel like they changed a whole lot of restrictions to AI. So now it doesn't even talk to me the same way it used to talk to me. So I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, it has a personality, as weird as that is. And I don't know, that part kind of creeps me out. I'm like, you're a computer program. You shouldn't have a personality. But then again, my Echo has a personality. So can I really judge it? You know, not that that's, you know, necessarily what we were talking about. I know it's not on the air, but, you know, like I have 2 boys and we are very particular about where we take our kids. And for me, the environment the organization of the team is critical for me. If I see that the staff looks like they have no idea what they're supposed to be doing, and I can't find the boss, and the place is all disorganized and there's stuff everywhere, I don't bring my kid back. And I'll smile and tip you because I just believe in tipping people for their work, but I won't bring them back.
Yeah.
And they'll never know why I left. They're like, well, they were a happy customer. I was like, actually, I was a disappointed customer, but I just like to be professional about it.
Damn.
And that's why, like, my kids go to sports clips.
Okay.
Because you know what? There's a very clear, defined process for everything they do in sports clips. No matter where you go, it is the same process. You need an appointment, you're going to click here, and it's going to show in the app, and you're going to see it on the screen. There's no confusion. I chose if I wanted the next available stylist or if I want a specific person. You're going to tell me what the prices are, and if it's going to vary, they're going to tell me before they get in the chair. And I have somewhere to sit and everything. Like, it's very clear. I never guess at sports clips. But if I were to go to a mom and pop barbershop, there's no telling what's going on. I go in, everybody's full, chairs, you know, wall to wall. I don't know if I'm first in line, fifth in line. You know, the barber on the left doesn't know that you don't cut the kid's hair like this, you do this. Like, everyone has their own style. And it's great if that's what you're used to, but as a modern day customer, that doesn't work for me. So I thank God for their SOPs. I'm like, yes, do that, and I will keep coming back if you have that.
Okay. I think this is the first time I heard about that SOP.
Yeah.
Do we have an SOP?
No, we don't.
Okay.
Chat GPT it.
Right.
If it makes you feel better, most business owners don't have them. Not most small business owners don't. Big corporations do. And this is also why you notice, like, people keep coming back to work for them, even though they treat them like mess. But they also get more money because it gives the appearance of structure. Even if your process changes, the fact that you have something in writing to refer to, it gives the impression that, okay, this company knows what they're doing, they can scale. They can handle my request. I can send more people because they're organized. Your customer can feel when you have an SOP.
Okay. What? I didn't know we didn't have an SOP.
Do you feel like I have an SOP?
But it also makes it easier
I just
for
found
an
out about
owner who
SOP.
has employees. Like, for me, like, I'm front desk, so if I was to ever leave, the next person who comes in, they could just go over it and they'll already know what to do.
Wait, can I let me that yellow for you?
Yes. That's not an SOP, those are notes.
It's a big difference.
Okay.
That's why I make process manuals. You know what? Can I tell you a story about the SOP? Because she brought it up, so I'm like, I got to tell the story. Okay, so I have over 20 years of corporate experience. I've worked in Fortune 500s. I know how to do the corporate game. And I always, in every job I've ever had, people picked at me, they laughed at me, but every job I had, I would look for the process manual for my role. If there was not one, I built one. Even if it took me 3 months to do. Every single job. And people are like, this is ridiculous. You're just a secretary. I don't care. I'm writing the process manual. And one year I was working for a Fortune 500, great company, and it was a Wednesday, and I left to take my kids to church. We were having a great day. We literally had went to the gas station. We had hot dogs. We're jammed in the car. And as I get ready to make the turn to go to church, I got hit by a drunk driver. And I got hit so bad that my SUV was totaled. I completely crunched my kneecap. It was shattered. And I could not walk. I couldn't make it back into the office. I was in excruciating pain. What saved my job was my SOP. I had literally built a manual. It was a huge thing. So, not saying everybody needs to do it, but this is why I do it, because I love making manuals. Huge manual, but I had every single thing I did in my role, down to the T. I'm talking numbered bullet points, images for reference, who to go to for help, troubleshooting, time of day that it needs to be done. I had everything. You didn't have to have me there. If you had my notebook, you could do my job. And that was crucial because I needed 2 months of recovery. Any other company, I would have been fired. Not because they didn't care that I was hurt, but they're like, We need someone to do the job, and you're not here, so we'll just reinvent the process. But because I had it documented, my coworker was able to fill in for me, do everything, even though that wasn't their job. And when I returned, that was the first thing my boss thanked me for. And they said, thank you for making this, because if you had not done this, we would have missed our financial reports. The system would have gone down because no one knows how to do this. I'm so glad you did that. Matter of fact, let me give you a promotion, because I made an SOP. So you want contingency because anything can happen. We hope our team members have good days every day, but let's face it, you don't know if a car wreck's going to happen. You don't know if they're going to be out of power. You don't know if they're going to be sick. You don't know what's going to happen. You got to protect all the work they've invested in your company and make sure it's repeatable. And if anything else, outside of that, it gives a chance for them to be promoted.
Yeah, I'm trying to get what's it called, SOP through AI, because now you got me invested in this.
You just gave me an idea, because so with the photography and videography, I'm a freelancer, so I'm not doing this full time yet. That's the goal. I work full time at a gym, and I think I'm gonna make that an SOP, so I can be like, hey, here's an SOP, so that way whenever I do leave, you can just hand this over.
Yeah.
Because I've been there for like 6 years, and I know her, like how she likes things and how she is and all that. So I was like, oh yeah, it's easy. But then we have a new trainer who's still getting adjusted to everything. But I was like, I think it helps if you have a manual of like everything broken down.
Yeah, and even for your freelance business. I mean, I don't know what your vision is, but at some point, if you want to expand, what if you got all of a sudden offers from 3 different states for photography? And they all want it at the same time. Well, you certainly can't be in 3 places at once.
Right.
You're going to want to hire. And when you hire, you want them to do things the way that you do it, because you've built this business. You've invested in it. You don't want there to be confusion. That SOP allows you to do that. That's why McDonald's works. McDonald's works even if you don't like their French fries or their burgers. It works because that SOP is used across the entire globe. If you go to China, the burger and fries are made the same way as they are here because of an SOP.
Okay. I got this SOP now.
They got a whole list for you, Candy.
Yeah, a whole list. Look at this.
Oh, I love it.
He created a whole SOP for me.
It's about to make
You
you
just
learn.
have to go through it and see if it does exactly how you like to read.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna read through every single one of them and then go into what it's called and start giving it feedback by every little point that he gave me to Kate. So make it. This is just a base. Then I'm gonna go in there and like fine it, tune it, fine it.
So I forgot to ask you, what motivated you to start your business? Like, what was the biggest motivation that you had?
I think the best answer will probably be the latest answer.
Yeah.
So even though I've been in business for 18 years, I haven't been full-time in it for 18 years. So I started off full-time when my kids were little. Then I was like, okay, you're driving me nuts. I need a corporate job. So I did corporate and worked my business on the weekends. But really what pushed me was the last job I had, which you would think if you knew everything I went through, you would think, why did you leave? The last job I worked at, I had probably the biggest accolade I've ever received in my career. I ended up winning a Stevie Award. If you know anything about those, they're like gigantic global awards. There are people that compete literally across the globe. I was in the running with people from Afghanistan trying to get this role. And I won bronze. I didn't win gold, but I won bronze for Sales Support Professional of the Year. And even though I had that great accolade, the company I was with was very toxic. And my hard work was being used as if it was their own. Not getting the recognition that I deserved, constantly being pushed down. Like if I tried to move up in any kind of way, even just to be a leader in my own group, like I didn't want to leave the department. there was always something they did to try to kind of push me down. Couldn't work. It was just really, really dark. And it got so bad that it impacted my health, actually. One day I realized that I was having really bad chest pains. When I went into the hospital, I found that I had 5% heart failure from the stress of the job. Had no idea. I was like, there's no way that I'm having heart problems. I was like, you are. They're stressing you literally to death. And I ended up going on, yeah, you know, I was like, wow, I didn't realize I was that stressed. So I ended up going on disability with the job. And I did that so I could think, to take care of myself, but also to think, like, what do I really want? And I had actually almost given up on my business, to be really honest. I wasn't making the sales I wanted, and I thought, I can't afford like monthly bills with this thing, so should I just quit? But while I was on disability, I went to a event at the FSU Hub, and I was talking with someone about my business, and they said, oh my gosh, where have you been hiding? I need your service. I haven't seen a company that does this. I was like, really? I was like, well, I got one customer. One turned into 5, turned into 10, and it just kept, and I was like, whoa. Like, I was on disability, and like business was like growing, and all I did was speak up. And one of the people that I met, which is how I ended up being an advisor at FTCC, he said, why are you spending your time giving your talent to people who are never going to value it as much as your own clients would? And I had never thought of it that way. I was looking at the corporate world thinking, well, surely they value me. They pay me way more than a client would ever pay me. It's like, no, they value that you're keeping them in business. At the end of the day, they're just going to let you go like anybody else. They'll replace you. So August 31st of last year, I resigned from my job and went full-time in my business. And even though there are moments when it's hard, this is the best decision I've ever made. I feel so much better. My health improved. Like, everything got better. My cholesterol got better. Blood pressure got better. I was like, oh my gosh, I need to work for myself. So that was my turning point.
Nice. Good. Are you good?
Yeah.
Your heart again?
No.
He's thinking about the SOPs.
No, I'm over here trying not to call, bro. I'm over here trying not to call.
So basically at the corporate you were just a number and you realized that you can do better on your own.
Yeah. I mean, and this is after winning a global award. Like, they flew me out to Vegas. I was on stage. They put me on YouTube and everything. And I was treated like I was the worst person in the room. And I was like, how am I getting punished for working so hard? So, yeah. And they're still letting go of people now. Actually, my business is growing because they keep firing people. And they keep coming to me. They're like, oh my gosh, they fired me. Can you do my resume? I'm like, got it.
I'm gonna start charging people for that. I used to do everybody's resume. Yeah, so. Yeah, I can do resumes, Candy.
Me too, I do my family's.
Okay, you looked at me like, quit lying.
That's ChatGPT.
You know, this is before ChatGPT, bro. I remember I used to write people's resumes. That was fun. They tell me your skills. Bro, you can't do nothing. Hey, you want a job?
Yeah, you gotta be creative with those resumes, though. I don't know. I love, the fact when it comes to business, you have to think about what problem are you solving that someone else isn't solving.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are like, oh, well, what's so different about it? Because we have people that do this everywhere. Everyone has virtual assistants. Everyone has someone who can make cards and stuff. What makes me different? Everything I do is custom and it's personalized.
And I think that's one of the things that I guess just clicked in my brain. It was like, yes, we are a luxury, but at the same time, people come to me because they feel some type of way about their body. So that person who thinks that she's a 8 walks out of here thinking they're a 9 or 10, like, bro, that is what I've done. I gave that service because to me it's more of a, what is it called, feeling the void that somebody's missing. Yeah, so that's the way I had put it in my head.
You should use that in your marketing, like specifically. because you got me interested. Now, I don't know if you know this, but I'm not a tattoo person at all.
Yeah.
Like, completely against it. But my husband loves it. But I'm very body conscious. So if I saw an ad or a post that's talking about how we are honoring how you feel about your body, but still giving you a way to express and all that, that would get my attention.
Because if I'm being honest, like, I'm not, if somebody doesn't have tattoos, I'm not going to be here like, get a tattoo. Like, no, like, you don't like tattoos, cool. Like, if I could take everything back, I probably wouldn't have any tattoos myself. But I'm already too invested into it. So I'm like, that's money going down the drain. But yeah, now if somebody was like, hey, I have this scar that I feel some type of way, like, all right, let's cover it up. I feel like my head's too big, all right, let's make your shoulder look bigger. Things like that.
Yeah, and that's huge. Like, that's an angle that you don't hear about a lot in the tattoo industry. Me, I just hear about how cool their designs are. And I'm like, that's great. I mean, I'm all for design. That's what I do. But I'm like, I don't want that on my body. But I never would have thought of something like, oh, there's a scar that I don't want to look like that anymore. I could cover that permanently. Or this one part of me feels like it's not even in size. I could maybe change that with a little coloring. Those are just outside the box ways of marketing that you just don't see.
One of the I'm listening to an audiobook, and one of the things that it said was that people enjoy or are happy whenever you make them the hero of their own life. So you're basically having them walk out as a hero. You're just the guide for them to,
I'm a shaman. Oh, yeah, and like I say, I know they come to me for a reason. So like, the last thing I want to do is make that person feel worse about themselves. Like, if I feel like I messed up their tattoo, I'm like, bro, like, what am I doing? Yeah.
That's pretty huge. I love that though. I mean, because even though like the type of work we do is different, the principle is the same. It's all about service.
Yes.
And how you make them feel, and that's huge because you're making them feel better about themselves in a way they can tangibly see. Me, I have to help them feel better in a mental way.
Yeah, because I feel like that's the biggest thing is like service. Like, what's your purpose? What are you serving? Like, what are you doing all? And to me, it's like I said, it's making somebody feel better about themselves. You is making sure that business is going up, excelling, whatever the right word is. It's just a service that we're doing.
Yeah. Every business owner is in service, whether they know it or not. They're like, I have products. You're still in service because someone wants to get that, and you're serving them by giving them something that they need or desire. But yeah, it makes a difference. I feel like I'm more of a counselor to half of my clients, but that's what I do. They're like, Molly, I don't know what to do. And I don't know. I feel like as business owners, we have to prepare for the unexpected more than anybody else. Like, corporate may do it, but we have to do this every day because you don't know what your client's going to come in with that day. They might come in depressed and having a whole whirlwind of tough things going on, and you're doing the service, but you've got to be the compassionate one that can listen to their sob story and help them get through while you're serving them. Like, it's a lot of work.
Yeah. You might.
Yeah, let me check. Might put the same one back in.
I actually had that happen with my client, Chrissy, the other day. And Chrissy, oh my gosh, I'm a baptized Chrissy. I'm like, what is wrong? She's like, my poster, it won't open. And like, I couldn't get to her.
Yeah.
My hubby had the car. I had a meeting to go to.
Yeah, it's just hot.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, it's hot
no.
here.
Oh no.
Yeah.
We roasted the camera. Be healed. Be healed.
How you good?
I mean, it's still recording though. So.
Oh, good.
And even the links and just have a conversation outside of the camera.
So we got it back up.
See, he's professional. I'm taking notes from him. You never know. Like, next time I have a videography client, I'm like, yep, I have a great third party that does all of that.
Right.
Because I love white labeling. Oh my gosh. That's so great.
I don't know what that is. White labeling?
You don't know what white labeling is?
No.
You need to know what white labeling is. Okay, so say like you do an incredible tattoo business, but say there's a specific type of, I don't know, tattoo related thing that you don't do. And you're really not even interested in doing it, but you want your customer to have what they need. You're like, okay, I can help you with this, but this isn't my cup of tea. Well, a white label is when you have like a contract with another company or another freelancer, and you're like, okay, I'll refer you to this person, and you get a tiny cut because you've referred them, but that person gets the business of that client. So it's literally a win-win. The customer's not left in the dark. You get a cut for referring, and they get a customer who actually wants what they offer.
Wow,
It's a beautiful thing.
I didn't know I could get paid for it.
Yes, you can get paid for it. We're business owners. We have to survive. I mean, I'm not saying you need to charge for everything, but yeah, because it's your time. Because you just did word of mouth marketing specifically to give that person a customer.
How do I sell it to the other person? Hey, bro, you sent you somebody. You gotta give me a cut.
Yeah, I mean, have it in writing. Have your contracts. Yeah, don't do it the lazy way and just say, yeah, we just talked about it. That's not a contract.
Yeah. I think in the tattoo industry, a contract is very frowned upon. So that's gonna be a hard sell.
It is, and you probably won't have a lot of white labels, because a lot of people don't want to do contracts because they want to be able to get out whenever they want to. They don't want to have to be required to give you that portion. Yeah, it's sad. I mean, but that's business, right? We don't know how people want to run their companies. I don't have a lot of white labels, but the ones that I do, I love them. And it's in contract. I'm like, great. Like the one I told you that does like the coaching, and she'll actually do the interviewing for you. So if you want to hire someone, she'll do all of that. I'm not. I'll write the resume and I'll teach them how to be a good candidate, but she will do the other stuff. It's
Coaching as far as like
both sides, like the people and the owner.
okay, like
So,
how to
yeah.
talk and all that,
Like how to talk, like she'll teach them like, okay, we're going to teach you how to ace the interview, how to present yourself, how to have your resume, how to do these things. And then she'll talk with the business owner and say, okay, here's how you figure out who to hire. Don't just look at what the best resume looks like. You got to evaluate these things. And she knows all of that. For me, it's a match made in heaven because I can say, great, I just did your resume. You want to ace that interview because it's going to happen. Connect with this person right here, and they're going to give you everything you need to be the best candidate the next time you have an interview. And so they just got a sale. I just finished my sale. And I got my tiny little cut for referring. But at the end of the day, that customer is never left hanging. They're not missing anything. They're not just sitting there saying, I wish I had a job. We're saying, I gave you a tool to get noticed. Now I'm teaching you how to land the job. And they're going to teach you how to keep the job.
Okay.
So it's like a full circle.
Okay. There's I used to work at Verizon, and I remember we had what's it called? What do they call where you log in and you take little quizzes, like little
Surveys?
no, not surveys. They gave you like oh my gosh, I know the words right there too.
Assessment?
No, they give you like a few pages for you to read, then they'll quiz you, and then they'll go on to the next one, and then go on to the next one. It's like little tests that you had to do. But I guess bottom line is, I remember I had printed all this out, because I was like, I'm gonna need this one day, because it was teaching you how to connect with customers, how to follow up with customers, how to do this, how to do that, and that's something that I stuck to even till this day. And I probably don't do it as much anymore, but I'll try to hit somebody up like, hey, how's your tattoo healing, or how's this going on? But it's something that I feel like a lot of people don't know. Like, people just, yeah, it's just something people, and I forgot where I was going with that.
It makes sense though. Like what you were saying, I was just thinking about your white labels, and I was like, it doesn't have to be another tattoo parlor that you white label with. You can think outside the box.
Oh, yeah.
Like think about people that do like physical, almost like medical treatment, if you will. everybody doesn't want to go to a hospital. But there may be someone who specifically specializes in physical care of tattoos, of, hey, you've got scars or you've got this, or a mobile physical therapist. Those are great people to connect with. Because, yeah, they have the tap, but they get the slightest little pain. They don't know that all they need to do is do a little bit of stretching or rub it out or something. They don't know these things, but you could partner with somebody that does all of that.
Might have to look into it.
Yeah. Yeah, just...
laser, videography, photography.
Yeah, just... And you'll get a lot of the ideas just from listening to your customers while you're serving them. Like, you'll find out the things that they're into or things they don't know about. You know, so I never had the idea of sending my clients to people that would coach them on interviewing until I got clients coming back saying, man, they're definitely noticing me on this resume, but I keep failing the interviews. And I was like, why? Never crossed my mind to connect them with someone that could coach them through all of that. I was just thinking, okay, you need to know where to print and, you know, pick the right paper. And they're like, no, I need help. So, you know, I would just say listen to your customers and figure out, like, what piques your interest when they talk. You know, maybe they really like showing off their tattoos. Maybe they're models or something. That is a great time to say, okay, let me connect you with my photographer who can help get you noticed. And maybe he has a white label with a modeling industry, you know, because he says, I can take the pictures, so it'll make sure they give you a chance when you go through your, you know, your auditions. Like, different ways to, you know, connect your business.
I'm getting a lot of things about though. Starting with that PO.
The SOP. That's the name of the whole podcast.
The point of sale system. That's what POS is, but we're talking about SOP. Yeah. My fault, y'all. My fault.
Don't think wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. No, but now you got me thinking on that, like, what I need to do, because I was just having that conversation with her too. Like, I was like, I know we're making money, like I know the shop's making money, but it's also like I have to be here and I have to be able to make this self-sustained without me being here. Yeah, so that's what we need to focus on, Candy. Yeah. Please and thank you.
Yeah, it's growth planning is what it is. Yeah, don't look at it as like, oh my gosh, I got to be all this administrative stuff. It's, I'm helping my business and my team to grow. Because who knows? You know, I don't know what your vision is. Maybe one day she wants to be the person that says, hey, I'm the assistant manager here, and I can run this so that you can go and take vacation. But she wants to be confident of that. She definitely wouldn't want to run it if she has no idea what the process is when you're not here. She'll be calling you every time. You're at the beach, and like, I know you're in the ocean, but where do I put this? You don't want that.
Okay.
You know, now that I think about it, technically I do have an SOP for this, kinda. So I have an assistant that I usually take him with me for like bigger projects like weddings or stuff like that. Whenever I needed somebody doing video, like different cameras or photography, and I basically showed him everything that I know. But what I did was on Google Drive, I did different folders, and each folder had different links to the things that because everything I know is self-taught. Well, I learned through YouTube or through just different things, and then I just did it to my liking. But I basically, on every folder, I broke it down to wedding photography or videography or cinematic stuff, and then I got all the links in there, and all I did was share it with him, and I was like, this is kind of like my way of working, and this is where I got it from. So that way he kind of knows where I'm going with, like, whenever we're working together in projects, he kind of knows what I'm looking for, instead of him just being there recording.
I love that. That's a great free way to do it. And I like free. Free is my happy word. Have you tried HoneyBook?
I have not. So I use Wits, and so far Wits has everything that I need at the moment. because I like simple stuff. I like to keep it simple. I like to connect with people more than um, like AI generated or like yes, I want people to go to my website, but I want them to go to my websites and be like, that's cool. I need to connect with him cause for a project, but I still want to connect like with him. I cold message him for through Instagram. It wasn't like me trying to send him ads or stuff like that. It was more like me being basically that cold messaging or cold calling. Um, but the stuff within my website, everything is there. And if I have an idea of something that I want, usually Wix already has the apps built in, and I just got to integrate them. Um, but I have thought about HoneyBook. But for me, would it make sense that I already get paid through the website, and then I'll have something like a completely different thing on HoneyBook. Even though they integrate, I just don't want to like have separate things. If that makes sense.
No, it does make sense. And it all starts with, where you are in the scale of your business. So if you're small at the moment, it works. Do that. I think the first 8 years, all I did was nothing but Google. Because I was like, I'm not spending extra money on stuff until I make enough money to invest in software that I want. But when you start to scale, you may want something like HoneyBook. So Wix is great for the website side of it, aside from the fact that they're going to charge you for the things that you really need. And the minute you decide to move to a different platform, you can't migrate that site. So make sure you take snapshots before you migrate out.
Well, I believe HoneyBook integrates into Wix.
So HoneyBook does what Wix doesn't. Wix may give you like a form or like little interactive buttons, but you know how you have Google and you have all these different folders and photos and this and that? HoneyBook does all of that and then some.
Okay.
It automatically organizes your clients into their own individual project, if you will.
Okay.
You could have them book you and it shows up there. All their interactions stay there. You don't have to go back through email and say, oh, customer X messaged me about getting a photo shoot on Thursday. It shows up automatically. If they owed you money to pay you on whatever, you can have it show right there and remind them. If you had to do late fees, it does that. If you want to share with your team, you have team member features. Your financials for your QuickBooks and stuff, it's all in there. When I first got the HoneyBook, I was skeptical because I was like, I'm not trying to spend money. Right now, Google is free. I don't need things that cost money because I like free. Free is good. But I invested in HoneyBook and my sales tripled because it took care of everything. Contracts, invoices, keeping up with the customer, them uploading stuff for me, because oh my gosh, that was a nightmare, because they're emailing you back and forth and you're like, okay, wait, this picture, no, this over here, and you're like, okay, wait a minute, and you're trying to make folders in your email. I don't have to do that anymore. They have their own individual sections and they can upload whenever they want without asking me. I get pinged so I can see exactly what it is. I don't have to worry about storage. So I've got, I think, 145 clients, I think, that I got within like a year and a half. And that was just from using HoneyBook. And so now I have one spot. Now, no, that doesn't have my website. The minute they do, yeah, I will only use HoneyBook. But yeah, I use my website on one platform, but my website isn't going to do that level of detail. And mine has like forms, it has payments and all of that, but it's not going to keep me organized and say, you have 3 clients and 2 of them are meeting with you this week and that one is waiting on a follow-up and this one needs that. Like, it's not going to do all of that in the website because it's not designed for administration. It's designed for the visual effect and the user experience. Just something to think about when you get bigger, because I'm already thinking about you at the end of the line. I'm thinking about you like, I've got thousands of clients that need my photography. I'm like, okay, you've got to be in Washington tomorrow, and then next week you're going to be in Florida, and I need everybody to know what they're doing without you having to manually do folders all the time.
Right. Yeah.
So like the form you have on Wix, sorry, I'm a website person, so I nerded out. So like on Wix, like you have the form in there. When they submit the form, so yeah, you get the entry and you know what it is, and yeah, they'll even pay for it. But you've got to organize folders. HoneyBook, I can make a form. When they fill it out, it instantly makes their own private folder, puts their entries and stuff in that private folder, automatically reminds them and follows up and does surveys and all of that. Technically, I wouldn't need a website if I did everything with the forms, but I'm extra, and I like for people to see me online.
I guess it will. I guess it will depend on the workflow, cause so I only have one form on the website, and that's basically, you know, their name, their email, their phone number, uh, and a message, so they can let me know like what they kind of do. They want photos or videos or stuff like that, and then they submit it, and I make sure that it's a requirement for their email and phone number, because before it was just email, but not everybody responds to email. So if they don't respond to email, I just send them a text message, and that has definitely helped my business grow. And usually, um, whenever they submit and I talk to the person, we have a whole conversation. And if for right now, my workflow is I usually just go ahead and close them. Depending on the project, if it's a bigger project, I'll take a down payment. If it's like a smaller project, then I'll go ahead and take the payment, and we just set the. And I have a regular calendar, a book. I still like writing stuff down as far as like calendars. So I guess like I said, yeah, I guess it will depend on the workflow.
Yeah.
For me, for right now, that's my workflow, and I enjoy it. I like it because I like to have like the hard copy of like, all right, this is where, because I try putting it on my phone or on a calendar. I just don't like it.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like, you got to find your own style as a business owner. But yeah, just know that as you scale, because I'm just already thinking of you scaling, you may have to adapt a little bit. Because I'm with you. I like to have, like, I have my little planner, which I should have brought with me, and I have, like, literally every single day, and it has, like, 10 spots to write my to-dos, and I just like seeing it so I can say, okay, I did this, 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 this. But my assistant in the Philippines can't see my little physical planner, and she's not going to be able to know that I met with 3 clients and what was going on. I have to have something that allows her to work as hard as I'm working without me having to stop and, okay, let me get a folder, and did I give you access, and then I do this, and what did they say? So it changes that, especially like appointment booking. There have been times when, like, because I do the FTCC side, there have been times where my whole day is full with business counselings, and I don't have time to follow up and book people for consultations. But because I have it all in HoneyBook, I can say, hey, Eliza, can you reach out to this person, this person, this person, book them to meet with me because I need to figure out what's the holdup here, what's going on there. And she can do all that in HoneyBook. And she has access to my live calendar, so I don't even have to go through that stuff and say, well, I'm not free on this Friday, but next one, I have to go through all that. And I can even have her calendar too. Oh my gosh. So I'm sorry. That makes me so happy when I think about I can have her calendar individually on there as well. You know, because she has a life, and she's in a complete time zone change. I think she's like 24 hours ahead of me, but like a little bit further, because like my 8 a.m. is her 8 p.m., but it's her 8 p.m. the next day. And I don't have time to figure out, okay, what day is Eliza here doing this to meet with them? I don't have to worry about that. I say, hey, Eliza, here's your access. Put your connect it with your calendar. And it connects, so they can literally book a meeting with her. And I don't have to be involved. It's so great. I just sleep and they meet with her, so it's awesome. But take your time on upgrading. Like,
I'm still look. There's so many different ways where I can go right now. I'm slowly taking my time with it. I know for a fact that what's stable right now is like the wedding mostly weddings, wedding photography and videography, family photos. I usually get those a lot, or just like people who just want a photo session, but mostly like family wise. And so what we're doing now, this was actually a great idea. I actually had two more people who I do content for, not specifically in the podcast, but more like they kind of, for they pay me in advance for the month, and then they're like, hey, can we get you in this day, and this day, and then all I do is show up, record, and that's it. And then what I'm focusing on right now is I kind of want to, for one, I want to keep learning. I want to get my vocabulary better as far as speaking and also like writing, because I want to I want to email bigger companies for bigger projects. So like bigger marketing, like I did some like real estate, but I want to actually email a big real estate company where I can do their marketing, like their videos or stuff like that. So that's kind of like where I want to go. I don't want to scale as far as more clients. I want to scale as far as higher paying clients overall. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of where I'm trying to go. And that also helps me keep everything simple as far as like workflow.
Yeah, no, that's great. And I know, especially when you think of real estate clients, they value streamlined processes. So if they've got to go to a whole bunch of different places to get what they need, it's not going to work for them. So however you do it, just keep it very organized, make it seamless for the customer, not necessarily seamless for you. If you can marry the two, that's a match made in heaven. But it's all about them. If I had my way, I'd be like, okay, just click links. Don't call me, don't email me, don't consult. Why do we need to consult? It's on the site. But it makes the customer happy. Are you in e-procurement?
What?
E-procurement? Are you in there?
No.
You should be in there. Are you an LLC?
No, right now, not yet. I'm a sole proprietor.
Oh, I need you to be an LLC.
LLC?
I need you to do that at some point in your future. Don't rush it, because that state fee is nothing to laugh about. I mean, $300 a year for me is expensive. I'm like, that's a lot of money. But I need you to do that because you're getting taxed out the wazoo, and you don't need that. As freelancers, we work hard. Sole proprietor is the worst way to go as a small business owner. Not saying it has to be LLC, but because there's different ways to do it, but you want to protect your assets, which is really the essential of the LLC. If something goes on, say you're doing photography for real estate, and I don't know, they had it staged and they had a really nice, vase over there, and it got knocked over because the client was posing and their elbow hit it, and now this expensive thing is there, and they're saying, hey, you did the photography because your camera thing was in the way, now we lost this, you owe us that. The last thing you want is that coming out of your personal money that you worked hard for. And you don't want someone who's, has a lot of animosity to come after more than your business. That's why you LLC. You LLC to protect you. So if someone came in right now for a tattoo and they're like, hey, this tattoo you gave me an infection, I'm sick now, I've now got to have chemo because it's tattoo cancer or whatever. And that person, if you're not an LLC, they could sue you for more than this. They could say, I want your business, I want your car, I want your house, I want that really nice TV you bought, a couple months ago. And they can do that as a sole proprietor. Your LLC, it's like, you can't touch my stuff. I mean, if you want to attack the business, you can, but you can't get any more than what the business has. It draws the line. Because customers, I say this nicely, we love our customers, right? We love customers. They're great. Thank you for working with us. But customers are unpredictable, and you don't know what a customer is going to do. I learned that the hard way, and that's when I became an LLC. Because remember I said I did a bunch of different things in my business before I figured out what I wanted to do. Well, I was doing the business of organizing, and I was still a sole proprietor, and I was working with my hubby. My hubby's great with his hands. He can build anything. And we were doing a flooring job. He's been doing it since he was 8, so literally he knows flooring. And I had a client that was very, very picky. They're like, I don't want you to buy the tile, we're gonna buy it. So great, you buy the tile. Like, I only want you to do it at this time. Great, we'll do it at your time. I want to know the second you're out of the house. And we did the job, and it was beautiful. I'm like, man, and I'm watching the whole time. I'm on the camera watching, and I'm like, okay, this looks good. Okay, I like the floor. Take pictures, and I'm communicating with the client. Hey, just stepped in, just finished. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Payment's been received. The guy did the most unthinkable thing I've ever heard of in my life, and I never did flooring after that, but I also changed my business style after that. He came home within an hour, got a crowbar. I wish I was making this up. I wish. Got a crowbar, went to the tile, and dug up 3 of the tiles because he wanted to see how the foundation was laid. And because the foundation wasn't laid to his standards, he wanted all of his money back. And at the time, that money was my livelihood. I didn't have backup. It was a very short financial month. I wasn't making a lot, and I needed that for groceries. And I was a sole proprietor. And this was a guy who had a lot of good connections, so he was like, I will sue. Like, you will give me everything. Now, the only thing that protected me was I did have a contract. It wasn't as ironclad as mine is now. Don't try it now. I've got insurance. But I had this contract, and it said the initial payment is a non-refundable retainer. Everything else I put in there is up to my discretion as a business owner if I want to give it back or if I want to give it in credits or something like that. That's what saved me from giving all of the money back. And I didn't have business insurance at the time. I just wasn't covered. And I was like, if this guy sues, I'm screwed. All I have is my car. And that's the thing that would pay off everything, and I need that to get by. So I changed the way I did business after that. I went to LLC because I said, no one's going to come after my stuff again. And I made sure my contracts were tight, and I got insured. Get insured no matter how small your business is, because you never know what they're going to do. And you work hard for your business. Like, that should be safe, you know? That's your baby. You built it.
Especially if you're traveling.
Yes.
Would you travel?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. God forbid you're going somewhere, you get a flat tire, or, you know, you try to, delayed plane flight, and they're like, I want a refund. No, in my contract it says this. And even if you try to sue, it's not coming out of my pocket. My insurance will pay for that because this is not my fault. Like, you always want to think bigger than where you are. Yeah. Yeah, because I don't want anyone to go through what I went through. That was the worst feeling in the world. And I had been in business for like 12 years by then. And I was like, wow, this guy's going to sue me. And I didn't do anything wrong. Like, who pulls up the tile after you lay it? Like, it wasn't uneven. I could understand if we broke a tile. Or if it was crooked or something. I'm like, okay, or we put the wrong tile down or something. But I'm like, you did everything you said. And you still wanted your money back. And I didn't have a backup. Yeah, I won't be in that situation again.
You live and you learn. That's the beauty of business owners.
Yes.
I do have a question about that though. How? So whenever like he checked there, right? How was he gonna be able to sue you if technically you did the job that he asked for? Whether it came out a certain way, it was the job was still done.
Yeah, but you got to think about, his word against mine. There's really no proof to prove that I did it right, because it's not like I had a camera crew in there, that was like recording the whole thing to say, hey, we talked ahead of time. This was our conversation. And at this hour we did this. And there was nothing that I could grab that would say, I can prove I did this right and you can't sue me for this. You went and damaged the tile by pulling it up. All I had was his picture where he pulled it all up and was like, this doesn't have enough foundation here. This doesn't have enough there. This is a poor job. And in court, there's nothing to prove that. They're going to say, do you have a witness? No. I don't have a witness to show that he went back and pulled up the tile. Do you have proof of the conversation you had? Well, we talked about it 2 weeks ago. Is it in writing? No. I wanted a personal touch. I wanted to do everything by conversation, in person, which is what I did.
Record my calls, keep my text messages. Yeah.
That's why you email. Like, I know people hate it as business owners. Like, they don't want to email because they're like, I don't want this automated thing. But it covers your butt. To put it bluntly, I mean, they come back and they're like, well, did you really say that this was the price of it? Yeah. Well, if all you have is a conversation like word of mouth, that can be changed to anything. They say, no, they said it was only $20. I said it was $200. No, that's not what I heard. And there's no way to prove it unless it's in writing. That's why I email everything. I don't care what it is. I need a text or some kind of string that said, we're going here.
Can't do cash no more, bro. I gotta send you an invoice with a contract.
He gives it in the notes, bro. Like, yeah, it was on my notes.
Cause usually, I except with him, I send everything, my invoices through Wits, and Wits lets me put like terms and conditions, and I usually always like try to put everything that I feel like could go wrong, so I try to edit it in there. But I think now after this conversation, I'm gonna sit down and like write every single thing down and just make it one whole thing. That way I just copy and paste to every single job, no matter how big or how small it is.
Yes, use your AI to help you, either your Groku or ChatGPT, and yeah.
It's like fee for my Groku. My Groku.
I'm like, I need you to sign this every time.
Right? It's a $5 charge per question, bro.
And there you go. Yeah, terms and conditions are important.
Yeah. I'm sorry to cut it short. I do have to leave in a few, but do you have any more questions?
No.
Do you have any more questions?
No, thank you so much for having me. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Do you mind letting us know your social links and everything? And
Absolutely. So hi, yes, you can find me on the web at xelbooks.com. And you can also find me on all social media, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Alignable at xelbooks.
All right, and I'm going to put everything on the description box down below. Thank you for watching. All right.